All right, people. So I was requested by at Aaron Peras on Twitter to do a rant on that attack that happened in Kenya, and on Christians and in a possible religious war. Now the thing that happened with the attack on Kenya, it was quite a while back, but I heard that they attacked and actually the military took like fucking 6 hours or whatever to show up, and this is again, I've talked about this recently, how in America we have the Second Amendment. In other countries they don't. That's why ISIS attacks a lot in other countries, because they know if, we're going to walk into a supermarket here, we know that everybody in there is going to be disarmed because of the draconian gun laws in other countries. So it's much harder to do an attack like that here than it is in Kenya. Again, also the police weren't there. I mean, that's another good reason why, we have to have, armed police. I'm not talking militarized police, but armed police. And it just shows why guns in society are a good thing. So, it's just an example there why, we should have guns to stop fucking shit like that. So anyway, the thoughts on Christians, in the Middle East, and just everywhere. It seems like, people are just trying, it actually came out, the UN came out and said Christians are the most persecuted group of people. They said something like that. I think, especially in the Middle East, Christians obviously are persecuted a lot, of course by ISIS. But it's just ridiculous though how ISIS is just wandering around, just killing all these Christians and whatever. It's sick. But who does it come back to? It comes back to our criminal government funding them, giving them supplies and money, and trying to overthrow dictators so then they could take control. So it's what ISIS is doing is horrible. At the same time, we're the ones enabling them to do that and making them do that. So then the Middle East can be destabilized as the part of the whole New World Order agenda, and also this could create a war. It already actually has. We're bombing there, which also gives money to the military and industrial complex. I wonder if Halliburton's going to get another no bid contract over there for I believe it was billions of dollars it was worth for. So. But a religious war. A lot of people like to say that, all wars are, centered around religion. In a way you could say that. But in my opinion, religions don't cause war. People cause war. It's not the religion's fault that the war happened. Yes, it could be centered around religion, but I think it's people that it comes down to that causes the war in the first place. So, but I mean, there's definitely a portrayal by, people to try to get people, Islamophobic. It seems like, like you see a lot of people saying, oh, all Muslims think that, they should kill other people, which is not true. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of Muslims out there that most of them are peaceful. It's just the radicals that are the radical terrorists that are the problem. So it really seems like though that they're trying to get, they're funding ISIS to attack, and then, then ISIS does their shit, and then everybody thinks that all Muslims are bad, or at least a lot of people, get the impression that, ISIS, they're Arabs, so all Arabs are bad, or all Muslims are bad, which again isn't true. So in a lot of ways, it's really creating religious tension between Christians and Muslims. And you see a lot of acceptance of the Muslim faith, and people saying, oh, like with these recent attacks, oh, don't offend Muslims, And as I said, even if they are purposely trying to offend them, which, I mean, from what I've seen, I think they were, trying to mock Muslims, they still have a First Amendment. That's the whole part about it. It's the First Amendment. If they were mocking Christians, they have a First Amendment. you know. But it seems like everybody's trying to please Muslims, and you know, it doesn't, like, I think when something bad comes out, you know, when somebody does something horrible about Christians, it's not as, it's not in the media as much as if someone does bad, someone does something bad regarding Islam. So, I mean, the whole situation is just a mess to, you know, further the whole agenda of the New World Order, and it's just a whole mess, you know. You know, they take little issues like racism, and they make it into the, like, there's always going to be racist people in America, but they take it in and then they explode it into this big issue. Now it's a whole fucking huge issue, riots, etc. So, you know, so that's basically my thoughts there. I think I covered everything he wanted me to cover. Um, you know, so I mean, we're seeing a lot of tension right now in the world dealing with, you know, terrorists and religion and shit. And I think what we got to remember is, you know, Muslims aren't the problem. It's the you know, it's the terrorists and our government funding the terrorists. That's the problem, and we should be more focused on that than, you know, every fucking Muslim here in America. So there you go, people. There's kind of my thoughts right there on the whole situation with Kenya and the terrorists and Muslims and religious wars. So there you go, people.